Hi Sue, hi Swirly. I think we're live. And I am working on one more little thing and then we will get started. I'm about a minute early, so I'm going to give it a few seconds for others to join. Because I forgot to share my file with my supporters. I need to get that up. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody had a happy Easter. Hey Melissa. I'm giving it just a second for some people to come on while we're waiting. You're trying to put it on your TV? Okay, I'll try to go a little bit slower, Shirley, so you can get it up on your TV while I share this file with you guys for my Patreon and Ko-fi and YouTube supporters. Today is the 18th. And the link. And I am just going to leave it at that for right now, guys. And I will add the photo and the video for you guys after our live today. But the link is there for you guys who need it. But we are going to cover how to make your own as well, in case you want to change it up. But I promise I will get it up to you as quickly as possible after the live. I will put the link to the video up there and a photo as well. Okay, it gives you the ads and then the swirl. Let's see. Let me play the intro. Maybe that will get it going. Okay, and let's see. This is our calendar. Hi, Marianne. I just put for you guys who are, I'm looking for the live on Facebook so I can see those chatters. If my Facebook will act properly and show it to me. This is the calendar coming on Thursday. We're going to put together the pop-up sunflower. And then on Friday, we are doing a step card. So make sure you're joining us for that this week. The step card, you will actually be walking through the design. Yeah, you got it. Good, Swirly. Glad you got it on there. Yay! So we're going to be doing that this week. Also, don't forget, on Friday we will be drawing for our Cricut Egg Hunt giveaway. For some reason, I can't get my Facebook up. So if you're on Facebook and you're trying to chat, it's not pulling up the live for me there. It's slow. So make sure you tell me who you are so I can say hi. But make sure that you're doing this. You still have a couple of days left. We're drawing it on Friday. You have to post your new Easter themed Cricut project. I'm pretty sure everybody did an Easter project and you either used Cricut materials or you use any egg image from Access, and then you go over to craftingwithapril.co and enter on the raffle copter. But make sure you do your post first so you can tell me where you posted it so I can save it so I can do my egg hunt. So we're going to draw that live. So if you haven't done it already, make sure that you're going and doing that. You can find this and the instructions in the pinned post under the group photo. So if you need that, it will be there. So this is today's project, and it doesn't have any personalization in there because it is kind of an easy project, but when it comes to laying it out, there are a few things of tips and tricks that you need to go by. Because you can't just resize these because it will change the holes and the way that the holes are done. For example, let me just duplicate this one and show you. If you are a supporter, now you have this file. I will again put up the video and photos of mine up there for you guys so that you can easily find it. But right now you do have the link to open the project. But if I were to just try to unlock this and resize it, take a look at the holes and what happens. So if I tried to make this one 11.5 inches, oh, not 1.5, 11.5, but the same thing happens. See what happens to the holes and the ends, how they distort? So there's a little trick to laying out your leather projects when you're doing these for your pre-cut holes, and this applies for earrings or anything that you want to do. So what you need to do is determine how far apart and how far from the end you want those holes. And what you're going to do is get your shape, and I didn't save one in here, but you're just going to determine, and I believe I made mine 0.15 for this project. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember. I can find out though. Super easy to duplicate. So if you want to change this and change your shapes, you can do this. If you have this file, just pick one of them because they are lined up like they're supposed to be. And you can hide your contour, and that will give you the holes that need to be in this piece so that they are positioned properly. And then you can contour it even further and get rid of all but one. And I did make them 0.15. For some reason it just looked a little bit bigger. So 0.15 is the hole size that I used. And I did use basic shapes, and you can change up your shapes. I made this piece a little bit wider than our connecting piece. But I did use the same size holes, and you have to line that up without moving anything and slicing. So if you're joining on our Friday freebie designs, you are learning how to use your shapes, your cut lines, your scores, your slices. We're learning all of that as we go and we design projects. So if you need help with slicing, just let me know. And on Fridays, we will go over on how to do that, where you can slice out of multiple layers and multiple images like these two layers, and slice from them and get them exact. So little tricks of the trade, and we will teach you those as we go and we learn Designspace. Does anybody, or has anybody here not cut any leather or faux suede or faux leather from Cricut? Because I cut some of both. And I'm going to be showing you how to assemble the key rings and stuff today. These are super easy to do. I'm going to go and see if I can find an image. Let's see. I want to do, let's look in featured. I want to do some wording of some sort, but I don't know what I want to do. And I'm still got some Easter up here. Let's do, see if there's anything in featured for peace. You have not done any, Sue? It's super easy to work with and super easy to cut. When I go to the overhead, I'm going to show you guys what I used and how I cut. No, nothing in featured, so let me just go to everything. Okay, kind of like that one. So I'm going to grab that one and add it to canvas, and then I'll just do my initials on the other one. So when you're sizing for this, if you're putting any kind of iron on, I like to rotate it 90 or 270, whichever way you want to do it, that's fine. But you can see that that's not going to fit on the band. And sometimes we can just shrink it down and it will fit perfectly fine, and sometimes it will not. And I'm going to make that a different color so we can actually see it. And sometimes it won't. Okay, sometimes it's really tricky. And you might have to unlock it and skew it just a little bit. Okay, don't skew it too much because it will distort. And that looks like it's going to fit pretty good probably on this one. This one I'm probably going to do my initials. I have 3 sizes in here for you guys. And the reason I have 3 sizes in here is because I have one that's set up for maybe like men. They like to put their keys in their pocket, but you can still put this on there and it's not too bulky. So this is a little short one. You can still get your fingers and stuff in it. This one's a little bit larger, and I would say maybe for teens and stuff to hook on their book bags. And then this one will actually go around your wrist, like a wristlet. So there are 3 different sizes, and those are set up for you. And now I'm just going to get some initials. It's a great way to use up scraps of your iron-ons to do these. And let's just grab a font. Something that I will like. Clementine's one of my favorites for monograms and initials. Yeah, that looks good. Because my initials look funky sometimes because of the J. And I'm just going to go with that. And I'm just going to base it off the height of this one. I'm going to rotate that one. Change that color so that I can see it. And they're all the same width. So, and I believe I did them 0.75. Yeah, oh, that says, yeah, 0.75 is what the width of those are. So as long as your iron-on is below that, you should be okay. And so I'm just going to hide this. I'm not going to save this. Because I don't want to mess up the file for you guys. And I'm just going to cut this on my machine while we're putting together our iron-on. And I am going to mirror that because it is iron-on. And on a mat, continue. And I could probably get this out of one scrap here, but we're going to see. And I am using a scrap of foil iron-on. I do have my mirror on. Okay. And I'm going to pop over to the overhead and we're going to start, and I'm going to show you how to cut and put this stuff together. Get my keyboard out of the way before I close something I shouldn't. So, I mean, I have a couple of little scraps here. I'm looking at, let me look at that again, see how big it is. About 3 inches. I don't think this will make it. But yes, small scraps like this, you can use to get those. Just going to place that piece on, and we're going to cut. Alright, while that's cutting, I've already given one of these away that I've already done. It was in the photo. These are super simple and easy. These are my mock-ups, and I have since fixed these because I didn't have that piece quite long enough. For this, if you look in the file, guys, you will find, and I will also share it with you guys here, my Amazon links. You're going to need some double-end split caps. Okay, they're really inexpensive. You can buy a whole set that comes with the tool on Amazon for about $9.50. Hi, Connie. Or you can go to Joann's and buy just the tool for $10. And then you can buy the end caps and the key rings all separate. But there is a kit on Amazon, and I will get that link as soon as this finishes cutting. They are super simple and easy to put together. Now I have a little jeweler's hammer, and this came from Joann's. But you can, any small little hammer, you don't need to put a lot of pressure. You don't need anything major. Any rubber-ended hammer, if you can find one at Dollar Tree, will work. Okay? But I have a link for that if you want to buy one of the little $8 ones from Amazon. Let me pull that off. And yes, you can put iron-on onto the leather, onto faux suede, onto the faux leather from Cricut. You just have to be careful about doing it. And I have to find where I set my mini press here. Oh, and I wanted to say thank you to Mary Ann for the cute little card. She sent me a thank you card, so thank you for that. And I also got one from one of our viewers. Linda sent me this one, where she had made that and entered it into our giveaway last month. And I also got one from Sue. Thank you so much, ladies. I appreciate it. Great job on the cards. Hey, Kathy. No problem. We haven't really gotten started on this yet. We've just been talking about leather and how to cut it. Now, this is the genuine leather from Cricut. And the small ones, the small packs, you can get these small ones out of it. Now, the larger ones, you are going to need the 12 by 12. And I didn't have any of the 12 by 12 except in the faux suede. And that's what I used for those. Right here, your Cricut Faux Suede, and you can buy that on Cricut.com. Please use my links. They're down below in the video. And order your leathers because they cut so well. Now, your faux leather, when you cut these, you really need a strong grip mat. You can probably get away with the green mat. Use your brayer and brayer it down, but I recommend the purple mat for the actual genuine leather. And you're going to need your deep cut blade. Okay, it needs the deep cut blade to cut this material. Now, for the faux suede, your faux leather, you can use just your regular blade that's in the machine and a green mat. I use a green mat on that. So super easy and simple to cut. You don't need the knife blade or any of that. Now, if you're not cutting Cricut genuine leather, you may need the knife blade. Yeah, they were beautiful cards. They did great jobs on them, Louise. So I have cut my iron on here, and I'm just gonna weed that really quick. You'll be surprised how quick these go together. You can cut multiples at one cutting, and super easy to put up on Etsy or anywhere that you want to sell that. And I'm going to have trouble seeing this with all the bright lights on. But maybe I'll get this little peace sign and the E weeded out. I knew I was going to do it. If you mess up like I just did, you can stick it back down. I'm going to get that piece out of there. Just going to gently lay it back down. Don't want to stretch it. There we go. Don't want to leave any pieces behind on your transfer if it's going to end up on something. All right. And again, super easy way to use up your scraps. Just going to cut those two apart. So, there it is. I just had this out yesterday and I was like, where did my mini go? We're just going to plug that in because it can heat up while we're putting the project together and we'll be good to go. when you're designing your leather projects, again, make sure that you've got your holes lined up properly and everything works well. Now, you may have, this may be a little loud because my microphone is directly over it, and I do apologize in advance for that. Get the rest of my tool out. You don't need this part of the tool because our Cricut cuts the machine for us. This actually cuts holes in it should you need it, but we don't need those, okay, because we've already done our hole cutting with the Cricut. So this is the base piece, and this has a little open end on it, or it's concave in there, so that the snaps will fit in there. And then the other end is the end that you're going to strike. So the first thing you want to do is get your strap, and I just start with either hole. It doesn't really matter. And you're going to bring that up. Oops, forgot my other piece. Going to loop it, just fold that in half, and then you're going to place this one on top and loop it over, okay? And it's just easier sometimes to get your cap. This is the one that has the post piece on it. Okay, and we're just going to start layering that up, and I'm just going to go in the first hole on this one, if I can hang on to it, and I can't hang on to it today. First hole on this one, second hole on this one, okay, just like that. Doesn't have to be lined up perfect or anything. And then you're going to bring in this one and put it in that second hole, just like that. Then you're going to put your key ring over that piece and fold it over onto there. And then all of your other 4 holes should line up. Once you have that assembled, just like that, okay, just like that, this is to the inside, and that's okay. It's going to move. And it's all right. We're going to line it up. You just place it on that base where that little concave area is on the base. Did I turn that on? I did not. And then you're going to take one of the flat pieces, and it doesn't have the post on it. And you're just going to place it right over the top of that post. Okay? Just push it down. It should stay. Then you're going to take the concave end of that tool and place it over the top, and then you're just going to strike it a couple of times. And it should, if you don't feel like it's tightened down, now this stud is made for genuine leather. You can use it on the faux, and it's only going to tighten down so far, okay, and that's fine. When you get the other one in, it won't move. So then you take a second one and you just place it through all 4 holes, and you do the exact same thing. Make sure your ring is to the front. You don't want it in between. And you can feel it just kind of snap on there, but it's not set yet and it won't come apart on you. You can feel a little snap, and then you're just going to set it. And that's all there is to it. It's set and it's done. Okay? And this one is the Faux Suede. I'm just going to get my iron on here and place it right on top. And you want to be careful because if you overheat this, you can melt it. You don't want to melt your iron on. So I just kind of stick this down. I really need my mat. Because I don't want to melt. I don't want to melt my self-healing mat. So we're going to place that right here. And then I'm just going to take my mini and I'm just going to go over it. And I'm trying to stay off of the faux leather with it, just kind of using the tip and coming across it. keep it moving so you don't melt your faux leather. Stay off of it bare. You can cover it with a Teflon sheet or parchment paper, and that will help you to keep it from melting. But it doesn't take long. You have to remember it does not take long with the foil and the faux leather. So I'm going to let that cool. And we're going to do another one. Now this is the leather and it's a little bit thicker. So these little caps fit a little bit better on those. They were sticking to the magnet on there. Same thing. You're going to start with the small piece, the first hole, and then you're going to take this one and go into the second hole. Then you're going to fold this up into the second hole, and then you're going to get your key ring and slide it over that end and fold that over into the first hole, and then get the small cap. And you can hear it kind of snap, and if you want to just go ahead and do the other one at the same time, you can. Run it through all 4 holes. Just squeeze it with your fingers. You'll hear it snap, and then you can set them both. And that's all it takes. It's set. It's good to go. Super easy. Yeah, if you're stressed or angry, and you can see how quickly they go together. It doesn't take a whole lot. Let's get this back over. And again, you can use up all your scraps of your iron-on, and we're just going to do the same thing with our mini. I'm just going to go over it maybe 10 or 15 seconds. If you're using glitter or something like that, you might want to do 15 seconds and then give it another heat up. And I'm just going to bring this one over. If it's not peeling or it looks like it's lifting, then just heat it again. But super easy and simple. Came out good. I'll let this one cool for a second. Oh, you melted your self-healing by accident? Oh, no. Remember, foil has to be completely cool. So we're going to give that a second to cool. While that's cooling, I'm going to get you guys that information. It is in the project details if you have the file. Let's see. It's going to let me. See if it'll let me copy it here. I have too many characters. Okay. Okay, the rivets, the double cap rivets, you'll need split key rings, and then the double cap rivets. Okay, let me cut that. There we go. There's where you can get the tool with the rivets right there. And this is for the bead hammer. And again, you can get those at Joann's if you want, but it's going to cost you more. I couldn't find them at Michael's. And I didn't go to Hobby Lobby to check. So, super easy and simple. Already peeled that. And you can see it's on there. Doesn't take long to heat it up on those. Just super quick. So does anybody have any questions? I told you guys this would be a quick live. It doesn't take long at all to do leather and suede projects with your Cricut, because it cuts that stuff so easily with just your deep cut blade and your regular blades. Super easy. Yeah, like I say, Charlotte, I love the Cricut foil, so I keep every little teeny tiny piece of scrap, because, I mean, you can see that these are perfect for making these. So I keep all of my little scraps. They will work fine on projects like this. You can also iron onto the back. You can iron the foil onto the back of your project before you cut it, and then you will have that shiny underside. So if you're doing earrings, you can take a piece of scrap and iron it onto the back of your leather pieces. And all you do is, and I'll just go ahead and do it on this one so you guys can see. Let me turn that down to a 1. And I'm just going to use my little mat here. But you can take your scraps, if you know what you're going to be cutting and you know it's the size that you need, and you can just iron that directly onto the back before you cut. And then when you cut it, you will have a double-sided leather on one side and the shiny foils on the other, or any other iron on. You can use pattern iron on, lots of things. So it depends on what kind of look that you want. You can do this. And then you're just going to let it cool. Again, I've got my mini set on low. Well, this one's a little warmer because I accidentally hit the button, but you want to set it on low and let it completely cool. 10 or 15 seconds is all it takes. And then you're just going to peel your liner off once it's cool. And now I can cut that and have it leather on one side, shiny on the other. That's great for earrings, any of those kind of things. You can even do it on your key fobs if you want to. And don't worry about getting a little crease on the end of it. It's going to come out over time, or either crease more with use. So I don't worry about it. But you can make your cards, your display cards, and everything for this. Super project for craft fairs and things like that. Super easy to make. Doesn't take a lot of material. Very little material, actually. I've done several out of this piece, and I had already cut this piece for another project. And I just trimmed it up, trimmed off the other edge, and I've gotten 2 or 3 out of this already. All right, does anybody have any questions on cutting the Cricut faux leather, the genuine leather, or your genuine suede? Or ironing onto it? Yeah, a lot of people say they don't know what to do with the patterned iron-on. Guys, you could take your whole 12 by 12 sheet if you're cutting a lot of stuff for a craft fair, and iron it directly onto the back of your 12 by 12 sheet here, and then cut tons of them, and just cut your whole sheet at one time, and it will already have that pattern on there. You won't have to fight with, is it on right? I would increase to a little bit more pressure if you've ironed onto the back, just to make sure it's going to cut through. I've never had a problem with it. But if you're cutting something intricate, you know, you want to check. Do a test cut. Do something like this and do a test cut to make sure you don't need to adjust your pressure. I've never had any problem with it. I'm just catching up on chat here. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Alright, does anybody have any questions? If you do and you forget to ask or you didn't see, just let me know in the chat over in the groups. We're happy to help you. And see what projects you can lay out, because you can do different shapes. You can do different shaped ends on these. And again, the wristlet, I cut this one at 11.5, and it will go over the wrist. Okay, so you do have a wristlet for this one. These I can get like one finger into, and that's why I say this is great for a men's size. They don't like a lot of bulk in their pockets. And then this one you can get 2 or 3 fingers in. You have a lot of the faux leather. Yeah, the faux leather will work too. The faux leather will stretch a little bit more than what these will. So, and I used small rings on these, but I did make that a little bit long, guys, so that if you're using the bigger rings, I just had these on hand. I actually like the bigger rings on these, but you shouldn't have any problem. They should fit in there loosely. So when you're designing, if you change your key fob, make sure that your fob is fitting loosely. You don't want it too tight like I got this one, because it doesn't want to move. It's kind of tight in there. You can stretch it a little if you need to, but you don't want them that tight in there. Okay, I had to adjust. And then you can also add your little charms on there. You can get charms and stuff like that at Michael's. So there's ways to dress those up and personalize them. You can put anchors away on there and put an anchor. They have lots of stuff like this, and they're like $1.99, $2.99, up to as much as $5 on the charms at Hobby Lobby and Michael's. So lots of things that you can do on these. You have a different clasp for yours? Yeah, you can use any kind of clasp that you want. You can even use the like the little lanyard type thing on the end of it instead of a key fob if you want to. You know, the kind that reel out. You can use those. You can use whatever you want on there. Alright, guys. Oops. Did my camera just go out? My camera just blacked. Huh. That was weird. I don't know why my camera went out, but it just did. I'm glad that we got finished. Yeah, it's like a claw. Yeah. You can do... oh, I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about for the wristlets like we use for... the wristlets that we use for the... let me just go over. It's a key fob we use on the strapping material. And you can iron onto that. A lot of people like to sew ribbon and stuff onto them. But you can also iron on if you're careful on your fabrics. Let's see. Well, if I can get that to close out for me. I'm having all sorts of issues with this thing today. That's weird. Okay. Let me just close. And let's see. Let me pull up the ones that Shirley's talking about for you guys, because you could use those on these too, but those are really better, Shirley, for it's really better on those if you use those on the strapping rather. I think that this is what you're talking about. Let's see. Let me pull this in. All right. Yours are like this, Shirley? Is this what you're talking about? That's the ones you're talking about. Those would just clip over the end. Those are better off on the nylon strapping than they are for something like this. The ones that I just gave you guys are let's put that in. These. So you can get the whole set for $9.50, and you get them in the gold, the silver, the gunmetal, and the brass. But those are your double split caps, and you get the tool with it for $9.50. And you can set with this kind of a tool too if you have one and you don't need a tool. They're just, to me, they're just not as easy. You can set with this. This is actually what punches your hole. And then you can see that they use it to set the rivets like that. That's for like a belt buckles or wristbands or whatever, where you're going to be putting the buckle in the holes so they don't stretch. But you don't really need that with these. Did that make more sense? Oh, it didn't change. Okay. Sorry. I forgot to change the camera. Is that better? This is the one that I'm talking about. This is the split end cap. Comes with the tool. Okay. You don't need this kind of tool down here. This is for punching the holes, and our Cricut cuts the holes, so you don't really need that. But you get this whole kit, 240 sets with the tool, $9.50. You should be able to see it now. I slid it over there, and I thought it was going to give it to you guys, but it didn't. It made me click on it again. Hey, Linda. So, this is the one you need. Let me see if it'll go back. I think this is what you were talking about, Shirley. These are better off on the strapping material. This is better for that. Because they have those little teeth, and when you clamp that down with the tool here, it bites into the strapping material. And you don't really want to do that on your leather. I guess you could. It probably wouldn't hurt anything if you'd rather do that than the end caps. I would just make it, if these are, what, an inch wide probably? 1.25. So you would need to make your strap, your leather strap, 1.25 inches wide so that it didn't overhang on the sides. So, I mean, but they have all sorts of things. I mean, you can find all sorts of different key fob and the rings and stuff like that. They've got these little claws. You could use these instead of a split ring. These would be cute. These are the swivel ones. So you could use those on this style of the setup that I did with the snaps. You could still use this and do the swivel. I have these, but I use, like I said, I use those on this type. This is the type that I use those on rather than leather. So it'll bite really good into that strapping material. There's some more swivels there, different shapes. You could probably get a ton of charms to go on them as well. But I'm going to go back. Let's see. Oh, it's not going to go back. Let me see if I can pull it up. But again, I mean, you can make tons of them right here for, you know, $10 worth of hardware. You can make tons of them. And then your tool is reusable. All you'll have to do is buy your split caps from there. And these are supposed to be the size 750, yep, 8mm. 8 and 6. Your cap is 6 and your base is 8. Alright. Alright, guys. So let's see some of these. Add some your patterned iron-ons and stuff like that on the back. Make some of these and post them up in the group. And while you're over here, you can also look up, if you're going to be doing the earrings, just look up earring findings. If it's going to let me type it in there, my keyboard is going up. Come on. You can come in here and get your earring findings. They have those in the kits, about $10. Here's one for $7, so that you can go in there and you can make tons of earrings like this too. You'll want to make your holes a little bit smaller than 0.15 if you're doing earrings. That hole's a little too big for that. Okay? I would say on earrings you'll might want to make that hole maybe a 0.05 instead of 1.5. Alright, guys. Y'all have a great week. I will catch you on Thursday. We're going to assemble the pop-up sunflower. We had requests for that, so that's coming up on Thursday. And then Friday we are going to be doing a center step card. And I'm going to show you guys how to lay your card out to make that. And our little design space lesson. So, freebie file coming. Catch you guys later. Thank you to all my supporters on Patreon, Ko-fi, and YouTube. And thank you very, very much to all of my moderators. Greatly appreciate you. On the bad side, Connie, let me go. Let me see if I can get my camera to come back on. It just went out for whatever reason. And I don't know why. You want to... Yeah, it's not coming back. I don't know what's wrong with it. I think I'm going to return it and have them give me a new camera. Because this is the second time it's done that. And it shouldn't be doing that. But yeah, make sure you're flipping it over, putting your iron on the wrong side. You want not on your pretty side. Put your patterned iron on to the wrong side of your faux leather and your leather. You're welcome. And if you play it back, Connie, you'll see that where I did that sample iron on, you'll see that I put it on the wrong side of the leather. And then when you're cutting it, I just put my pretty side to the mat and cut with the iron on side up. All right, you guys have a great day. I'll catch you Thursday.